Hey guys, welcome to another Satagger Day. Today I am doing the I Messed Up book tag. I was tagged by Heather over at Love Me Some Sarcasm. There are 8 questions, so let's get started. The first question is a book character whose appearance that you imagined wrong. And this has been on my mind a lot lately since the movie trailer came out, and the way that I imagine this character is not matching up with how the actress is dressed and the style and everything. I'll just say the character. It's Miss Peregrine from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I just imagined her as an older-ish woman, but very reserved, almost a little stern. But in the movie trailer, she appears much more whimsical, and I guess I just wasn't expecting that. Question number 2 is a character name that you've been pronouncing wrong, and this is always the character that I choose because a friend of mine, when I was younger, actually made fun of me for how my mom and I were pronouncing this character's name, and honestly, if she hadn't told us, we wouldn't have found out until we saw the movie. And of course, it is Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. I had no clue, and my mom had absolutely no clue how to pronounce Hermione's name when we first started reading Harry Potter. And I was probably like in 2nd grade, so I was only like 7 years old when I started reading it. And yeah, we just had no clue how to pronounce it or anything. And then one weekend, a friend of mine spent the night and my mom was reading me a few chapters and we came across Hermione's name. I don't know how we pronounced it, but it was so wrong. And my friend was just kind of like, what? That is not at all how it is, and made fun of me a little bit for how we were pronouncing it. But come on, I mean, I have never seen that name before. This is always the one that I think about because this is the first time that I ever got a character's name wrong. Number 3 is an overused trope that is your guilty pleasure, and I'm going to go with Heather's pick on this and choose the couple that starts out hating each other, but then they fall in love in the end. I don't know why, I just love all of the snarkiness in the beginning of the relationship because they don't like each other, and then watching their feelings change and everything is so much fun to read. Number 4 is a cliche character type that you like seeing on screen more than you like reading about, and for this was kind of hard because I don't really care about different character types, so I would either say the brooding bad boy, because sometimes depending on the level of angst that the author wants to have the character have, it can be a little annoying to read those characters, but on screen they can kind of tone it down a little bit and they end up blending into the story a little more. Either that or trying to have like a huge cast of characters or a few side characters that end up being a little bit underdeveloped in the book can shine through a little bit more in movies because there are so many background characters in movies, whereas in the book there really is only like the one main character. So I think having multiple characters and side characters and friends and family and all of that works a lot better on screen than it often does in books. Number 5 is a word or phrase that you learned because of how it was used in a book. And I had a really hard time for this one because I have learned so many words from books. How can you pick just one? So I ended up going with a general idea. I really liked in Holes that Stanley's name was Stanley Yelnats, and Yelnats is Stanley spelled backwards. So just little plays on words, and whenever a book has very interesting language, it tends to be like middle grade and children's-ish books play around with language a lot and words and spelling and all of that. I love that, and it really grabbed my interest as a kid, and obviously I still think about it to this day. Number 6 is, have you ever not completed a required reading book for school? And yes, absolutely. I think that the only time I ever finished a book that was required reading for me was when I convinced not only my 5th grade teacher, but also my 6th grade teacher, who was at an entirely different school with kids that I had not gone to K through 5th grade with, to add holes to the required reading for the year because I was so obsessed with it and wouldn't stop talking about it. So they just added it to the curriculum for the year, and it was amazing, and I think that that is the only time that I read the required reading. Number 7 is, have you ever skipped a chapter from a character whose point of view that you weren't interested in? And I don't think that I've ever done it because I wasn't interested in the character. I kind of just buck up and force myself through that little bit of the book. But I am guilty of, if one character's point of view leaves off on a huge cliffhanger and you don't know what's going to happen to them, I'm guilty of flipping further in the book to see if their name pops up again so that I know that at least they're not dead. And finally, question number 8 is, have you ever canceled social plans to read? Of course I have. I do all the time. I don't necessarily cancel plans, but I'm not the most social person in the world. I think my friends can attest to that. And there have been many times where they've asked what I'm doing and I just answer, you know, I'm just staying in and reading tonight. And I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of about that. I've never lied and said that I'm doing something else or that I'm super busy when really I'm just sitting at home reading. I don't do that, but I definitely will be straight up honest and say I don't want to hang out. I'd rather sit home and read. And those are all the questions for the I Messed Up book tag. The people that I am tagging are Malia from A Bookish Paradise and Aoife from Fred Weasley Died Laughing, and anyone else who has not done this tag yet, consider yourself tagged. Thank you so much to Heather for tagging me in this tag. I loved being tagged in tags and doing tags. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more bookish videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!